What did I just...
Would I survive Alice in Borderland? Well, that's a question that will be answered by the end of this video. But before I start rambling, let me give you some context about this show. So, Alice in Borderland is about a guy called Arisu, who's jobless, which I can relate, and is obsessed with playing video games. He's that obsessed that he missed his job interview that his brother helped him to get.
I beg your pardon? I beg your pardon?
While being out with his friends, they suddenly find themselves in a strange, emptied out of Tokyo, in which he and his friends must compete in dangerous games in order to survive. In this video, I'm only focusing on the games from season 1. So with that being said, let's get straight into this video. The first game is called Dead or Alive. The rules for this game are as follows. There are 2 doors in each room, one marked to live and the other marked to die. Players must decide which door to go through. If you pick the correct door, lucky you survive the first round. If you don't, you end up like this person. The players start with 2 minutes, but anytime a room is cleared, the time decreases by 10 seconds, which kinda sucks. And if you never watched the show before, you'll be wondering, what happens if the timer runs out and you're still in the room? Well, I don't know what to tell you. The real question is, would I beat this game? And to be honest, I'm not sure myself, but as someone who's good at guessing, I think, listen to the keyword, think, I would be fine, because there is a 50% chance of you picking the correct or the wrong door. I still wonder how Arisu somehow memorized the whole building and surrounding objects from outside, but one thing I would do is that I will peek into another room without entering it to see if there's another door in the other side, or slide something like paper or anything I can find inside my pocket, if there is something inside my pocket, under each door so I can know whether it gets shot by a laser or not. Would that be considered cheating? Well, the rules never mention that I can't think outside the box. If these were not allowed in the game, well...
I ain't gonna lie, I'm getting cooked.
If it were allowed, I think I can beat this game with flying colours. The second game is called Tag, and this game is self-explanatory. The rules for this game is that you're being chased by this person, known as the tagger or horsehead, which is kind of obvious by the look of it. The difference between this game and a normal game of tag is that instead of being tapped by the shoulder and instantly becoming a tagger, you're just getting shot. There is only one unlocked room in the complex building that serves as a safe zone. To clear this game, player or players have to find the safe zone and touch the 2 buttons within the time limit. It's game over if the timer runs out or if the tagger kills all the players. And if you're planning on escaping the building without playing the game, this player right here will show you what will happen. In this game, you also get an explanation on what the suits represent. Don't worry, I'm not going to explain them in detail. There are 4 suits: spades, diamonds, clubs and hearts. The spade suit cards represent more physical games. The diamond suit cards represent games that prioritize logic and intelligence. The club suit cards requires teamwork from players involved. And lastly, the heart suit cards are psychological games that focus on manipulation, betrayal and emotional cruelty. And out of all the suit cards, the heart suit cards are the hardest ones. So, how would I beat this game? When the game begins, you have a couple of seconds to prepare yourself until the tagger comes in. In that case, I will first start on the top floor of the building, specifically in the corner. This is because if I start on the top floor, I have a great view of my surroundings, meaning that I will know where the tagger is and I will also know where the safe zone is. But what if the tagger decides to start on the top floor? Well, I either become Albert Wesker and deflect all the bullets, or I start doing parkour. But before that, I need to make some friends because you can't beat this game alone. If I see someone like Chishia charging a weapon, I'm befriending them straight away because those type of people know what they're doing. When it comes to finding the safe zone though, I know for a fact that I'm gonna struggle with that because if I'm starting at the top floor corner without my glasses, it would be difficult for me to see the door from a distance. This would be my vision. The good thing about the games in the show is that you're given a phone that only shows you the card suit for the games and it also allows you to access the camera. So with that, I'm using a camera to zoom into the doors to see which door has bullets on them and which one doesn't. In the show, both Arisu and Chishia found the safe zone by noticing that the tagger was trying to scare players from the door that leads to the safe zone, which I have no clue how they noticed that. Once I find the safe zone, what should I do next? Well, the tagger is still looking for players, so I have 3 options. 1. Attack the tagger from the back, resulting to my death. 2. Working together as a team and attack the tagger. Or 3. Avoid the tagger at all costs until I reach the safe zone. Before going to the safe zone though, I have to wait until someone else finds the door first and just follow them. Once the doors open and you enter, there's another armed dealer hiding in a room, waiting for players to walk in. Before entering, the player opening the door should open the door from the side and wait for a couple of minutes to see if anything happens. And they should also have a weapon, or I should have a weapon just in case, as the game never mentioned that you can't have a weapon. While slowly entering the room, I will use a mirror and tilt it on each side to see if anyone's in the room, because it would be kind of weird if no one's guarding the safe zone. It's a 5 of spades game after all. To speed up this game, once the armed dealer comes out ready to attack, the player that I'm working with, or myself, will use our weapon to attack the armed dealer until the dealer is unable to move. Now finally, I'm in a room where the buttons are. This is where 2 players have to press the buttons at the same time to deactivate the bomb. So, if I'm with another player and we're able to reach the buttons, I will beat this game. If you have ever played hide and seek before, you already know how this game goes. But there's a catch. As this game is a 7 of hearts game, you already know this game is gonna mess you up mentally and physically. The rules for this game are, 1 player is randomly assigned the role as the wolf, and the remaining 3 players became sheep. If the wolf makes eye contact with a sheep, the sensor activates and the sheep becomes the new wolf. After a new wolf is selected, the previous player cannot become the wolf again for the next 3 seconds. Altogether, you have 10 minutes to complete this game. Before the game begins, all players have to equip a headset which includes an eyepiece and a microphone connected to an explosive collar. So if you lose...
Yo fam, Mr. Worldwide back at it again and let you know, I just came to remind y'all, que se culo bota caca.
To clear this game, you just have to become the wolf by the end of the game, and it's game over if you are the sheep. So, how would I beat this game? Well, if I came to this game alone, that means I don't know anyone here. So I either sacrifice my life for one person, not by choice mind you, or I try to win the game, but I will feel guilty by the end. So what's it gonna be? As mentioned before, you have 10 minutes to complete this game. When the game begins, I need to see whether I'm the sheep or the wolf. If I'm the sheep, I'll try my best to get the wolf's attention. But if I'm the wolf, I'm a big target, so my only option is to run really fast for my opponents, not look at them, and find a great hiding spot to hide. The good thing about this game is that the building where the game is taking place is a huge dome that is filled with plants, ponds and bridges. Therefore, there's a lot of places to hide. If I find a great hiding spot and no one finds me, I simply beat this game. I don't have to resort to any violence, all I have to do is mind my business, find my way and survive. I do have another way to beat this game, like 2 people staring at each other, and that might mess up with the game system, resulting to 2 people being the wolf. Or using the weapons that are provided to find a way to disconnect the sensor. But at the same time, disconnecting the sensor may explode the collar, as the sensor is connected to it. One thing to mention that has nothing to do with the games in the show is that one of Arisu's friends, that I can't pronounce his name sadly, could have survived this game if only he didn't compete. Because both Arisu and his friends still had 3-day visas, meaning that it isn't compulsory for them to play. Side note, in this game you have a visa, and these visas determine how long a player can stay alive in a Borderland. Depending on the game you play, the number of visa you get is based on the numbered difficulty of the card. For example, the 5 of spades game provides 5 days of visa to a player if they clear the game. If you don't compete in any games and your visa runs out, you're dead. With these 2, they had no choice to play the game because their visas were going to run out. Out of all the games in the show, this game is the easiest. But before I explain why, let me explain the rules for this game. The phones provided in this game provide a counter showing the distance from the goal. To clear this game, players need to reach the goal within the time limit, and it's game over when a player fails to reach the goal within the time limit or dies along the way. The reason why I said this is the easiest game is because all you have to do to beat this game is to stay inside a bus and do nothing until the timer runs out. That's it, simple. Because the game tells you that the phone shows you the distance from the goal, and the distance is already at 0 when you start the game, so there's no point moving. I don't know why the characters decided to run through a long tunnel believing that the further they are from the distance, the closer they are to the goal. It doesn't make sense. There was literally a big ass graffiti on the bus saying goal. If only they looked around the area that we're in, these two could have survived. The only smart person in this game is this guy. As a result, I will beat this game. This game is also an easy game. In the main room, 3 switches are mounted on the wall, and through the door, the adjacent room contains a single hanging light bulb where the contestants are in. One of the switches turns on the light bulb. When the doors close, players may flip any switch. While the doors open, players may only flip the switch once. The door will not close if there is a player in the other room or if the switch is flipped. To clear this game, the group needs to correctly guess which switch turns on the light bulb, and it's game over if the water rises and touches the wires above. So how would I beat this game? As mentioned before, each game provides you a phone. The phone is important. Therefore, with that phone, I'll use the camera, put it in the other room and angle it so it can capture the light bulb. After that, I will press record and flip one of the switches to see if the light bulb turned on. But I have to do it quickly because the water will start to rise. Another option would be flipping any switch and touch the light bulb to check whether it's hot or cold. So overall, I would beat this game. In this game, the evil witch who took Momika's life, who is one of the characters in the show, is hiding among the players. To clear this game, players need to find the witch and burn them in the fire of judgment, and it's game over if the witch has not been burned before the time limit is reached. This game seems difficult as it's a 10 of hearts game, but it's actually simple. All you have to do is find who murdered Momika and throw them into the fire pit. But as this game is a heartsuit game, it's definitely going to play with your feelings. Now the question is, how would I beat this game? I'll first take a picture of Momika's body for inspection to determine whether it's self-inflicted or not, and then I'll throw her body to the fire to see whether it clears the game. If it works, that means the people playing the game doesn't have to get killed. If it doesn't work, it's gonna be a long day. So, would I survive this game? I might, depending on who's playing this game. And that concludes all the games in Season 1. Obviously, there's more games to mention like these games that I may or may not even survive. If there's any other ideas that you have on how to beat these games, don't be afraid to put in the comments below. And with that being said, would I survive the games in Alice in Borderland Season 1? The only games I might not survive are hide and seek and witch hunts.